But guess what? You're going to get a lot more of an opportunity. You're going to get a lot more money. You're going to get a lot more of these things because of this unique skill you have to make people feel better.
What's going on, bad? I can't decide. What's going on? Just am I right? I'm moving out. Oh, I'm pulling out. Yeah. I'm getting out. Yeah. I'm getting out.
I think it's very important to show emotion. I think, as a point guard especially, you're the quarterback on the court. You want to have the most energy, I feel like. Me, I don't like to do the traditional high five. I like to push my teammate, make sure they're into it and, show how happy I am for them. Over the years, I've been fortunate enough to play with some great players. I think they appreciate that into the game.
Quinn is just a great teammate. He's always talking to everyone. He has his own personal handshake with everybody. When somebody does something good, he's letting them know that they did something good. And that just, as a player, makes you feel good about, playing, about what you do.
Just him being upbeat, every time you make an and one, you can expect Quinn to come up to you and push you or, give you a high five or be energetic, and it feeds over into the game. It gives you confidence, and, he's ahead of our snake. We need him to provide energy like that. He's been doing a great job this year. I think my freshman year, I pushed Mason one time, and after the game, he said, it was funny, and that got him going. So, that's really one thing. I really formed with him. I punch him sometimes. It's just something fun, to get the fans very involved into it. They like it. And so if it's, just telling them to, get loud or smacking the floor or pushing somebody, slapping high fives, it's just something I like to do.
So, I hope you guys can all hear. Were y'all able to hear it in the back, or was it kind of hard? Heard it? Okay. So, we talked about it. His teammates love playing with him. And this is a serious question you need to ask yourself. Do your teammates love to play with you? If the answer is yes, congratulations. You found the secret sauce. Every coach will want you on your team. You're going to play a lot more. But if the answer is no, there are things you have to do to be better at that. Is it every day? Is it every day your teammates are excited to see you? If it's every day, guess what? You're going to be a star player. Is it some days are high, some days are low? You're going to be a so-so player. Your results are going to be so-so. Your playing time is going to be so-so. Your wins are going to be so-so. You have to do it every time you walk into the gym. I am going to be the best teammate. Did anyone notice what Quinn Cook would also do? This is a cool little trick. What did Quinn Cook do every time one of his teammates were on the ground? He helped them up. But it wasn't because he was already there. He sprinted across the court every single time to be the first one there. What was he doing when he also helped him up? He was cheering him on. He was like, yes, there you go. That's what you do. He's like, great job rebounding. Good job, playing defense. Good job fighting down there in the post. He made the biggest impact when other people did things well. Question for you is, how much do you celebrate your teammates? When they do something great, how much do you actually walk over to them and tell them good job? Or that you're excited that they're on your team? Is that a hard thing to do?
No.
Is that something that requires a lot of talent and a lot of skill?
No.
Is that something that will create culture?
Yes.
Yes. Okay? Let's talk about the next thing real quick, okay? You guys don't know who Greg Popovich is, I hope you do, but the Spurs, they've always been a great organization, great team to look out for many years. They're talking about a little bit of team culture, and Chris Bosh is going to be talking. If you guys remember Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh was actually kind of like the first center in this new age that kind of created the pace and space. He was the first center that could block guys down low and also shoot the three-pointer and stuff. But when LeBron was in Miami, they won a lot of titles. And they also had a lot of great culture. Whether you guys like LeBron or don't like LeBron, it's just one of those things that you have to learn when you're watching star players. You have to stop looking at whether you like them or not, and you got to start thinking, what can I learn from them? LeBron's 6'9", 280, I think, and one of the greatest athletes ever. How many of us are that build? So is there a lot of stuff that we can learn from LeBron when it comes to how high he can jump or how far he can dunk the basketball? No, but there's stuff we can learn with how he treats his teammates Yeah, you might not think he's a good general manager. I don't think he's a good general manager. But there's a reason why a lot of people love to play with him when they come and play with him.
Talk a little bit about what is the culture of a great locker room, because you've been in some.
Well, I think to every championship team, every team that's ever won in league history, there is a formula there. And some guys know it, some guys don't. And the locker room is one of those huge pieces. And, you know, the players have to be together. You have to be in the same boat with the guy that at the end of the bench, and the same with the guy at the end of the bench with the starter. Everybody has to be on one accord. And I think that's one of the most, probably the hardest thing to do in team sports, is to check your ego at the door, do your job for the team, and make sure that you're operating on all cylinders when it's time. But most important, your attitude, coming into work, being professional, you know, those are things that people really don't talk about. You know, we just talk about, you know, Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas,
Right.
Magic Johnson, but these guys worked hard.
Yeah.
And their teammates worked hard, and everybody had to be prepared.
So he said a couple of things that I really want to highlight. He said the best player has to be on the same page with the worst player in your team. Now, you don't have to raise your hands on this, but I'll ask you specifically. Are you the best player on your team? If you are, how many times are you encouraging, or how many times are you partnering up with the worst player in practice to help build their skill? If you throw a beautiful pass to someone and they don't get it, they didn't even see the pass coming, how many of us raise our hands and like, what are you doing? Or why'd you miss that open shot? Versus stepping over and coaching them, hey, when I do this, you're supposed to step over. Great leaders get people to run with them. They get other people to catch up. They don't get in front and yell at everyone to catch up. If you're the smartest player on the basketball court, you have to learn how to teach people. Or you are going to walk in every single team of your life and you're going to be upset at your teammates. Unless you get lucky and you get on the top team in the state or something like that and everyone knows how to play. But that does not happen a lot. You have to learn how to build people up with you if you want to be a part of a winning team. Okay? This is one of my great favorite quotes, okay? Let's keep in mind, okay? This is Tim Duncan. So if you guys don't know who Tim Duncan is, okay, he won 5 titles over 20 years. He's one of the only star players in the NBA that actually stuck with the team for the longest time. He's widely known as the greatest teammate ever. And watch how his coach talks about him.
I realized that he understood everything I was saying, probably agreed with about half of it, but he's so respectful that he wouldn't say anything until later. He won't do it in front of the team, and sometimes I'd be merciless. And for that, I'm really thankful, because you allowed me to coach the team. If your superstar can take a little hit now and then, everybody else can shut the up and fall in line. And that man did that for me. He allowed me to coach.
That's really powerful. No, I'm dead serious. Like, as a coach, as someone who's dedicated my whole life to trying to convince you guys, nothing fuels me up personally, and I know all your other coaches feel, than when someone walks through the door, they have the talent, and they're willing to listen. Like, I'm dead serious. That is such a hard thing to find. He got emotional. He almost wanted to cry because of how special he felt because his best player allowed him to coach. How many of you walk away when your coach tells you something and you get upset at him? And you say, Coach doesn't know what he's talking about. Or Coach is bragging on me again. How many of you check out when your coach is talking to you? How many of you are like, oh, I've heard this a million times? Honestly, the best players hold the most what? Responsibility. You have to be the most patient. You have to be ready to be yelled at the most. You have to have the best body language. You have to be able to sacrifice the most. This is if you want to be on a championship team. If you don't want to, that's okay, but in my opinion, you shouldn't be complaining when your team's losing. If you want to win at the highest level and you want to be the best player on a championship team, you need to learn how to do these things. It's a non-negotiable. Okay? I've been talking a lot about body language. How's our body language right now? Are you slouching? Do you look engaged? Do you not look engaged? How many times do coaches say they're always listening? They're always watching. How many times do you sit down and practice? How many times are you leaning against the wall? Watch these college coaches. Okay, they're going to talk about Coach K and Coach Gino. Coach K, I think he has the most wins of all time. Might get that stat wrong. At Duke, he just retired last year. Okay, one of the most successful coaches ever in college basketball. Coach Gino, on the women's side, does anyone know UConn basketball? Like women's UConn basketball? If you don't know, you should look them up because for 5 years in a row, they never lost a game. They won 119 games in a row. And listen to how they both talk about their players. Well, this is an interview about Coach K.
He's big on body language, face, like if you're on the bench and he's watching film or something happens on the game and you don't like cheer loud enough, like he will point that out in film. If we're in practice and you walk from one station to the other, like he shows that in film the next day. Like he is big on, body language and posture and all those things.
Recruiting enthusiastic kids is harder than it's ever been. Because every kid watches TV and they watch the NBA or they watch Major League Baseball or they watch the NFL, whatever sport they watch, WNBA, it doesn't matter. And what they see is people just being really cool. So they think that's how they're going to act. And they haven't even figured out which foot to use as a pivot foot, and they're going to act like they're really good players. You see it all the time. You see it at every AAU tournament. You see it every high school game. So recruiting kids that are like really upbeat and loving life and love the game and have this tremendous appreciation for when their teammates do something well, that's hard. That's hard. It's really hard. So on our team, me, my coaching staff, we put a huge premium on body language. And if your body language is bad, you will never get in the game. Ever. I don't care how good you are. If somebody says, well, you just benched Stewie for, 35 minutes in the Memphis game a couple years ago. Yeah, I did. Oh, but that was to motivate her for the South Carolina game the following Monday. No, it wasn't. Stewie was acting like a 12-year-old. So I put her on the bench and said, sit there. It doesn't matter on our team. Now, the other coaches might say, well, you can do that because you got 3 other, All-Americans. I get that. I understand that. But I'd rather lose than watch kids play the way some kids play. I'd rather lose. And they're allowed to get away with just whatever. And they're always thinking about themselves. Me, 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 me. I didn't score, so why should I be happy? I'm not getting enough minutes. Why should I be happy? That's the world that we live in today, unfortunately. When I look at my team, they know this. When I watch game film, I'm checking what's going on the bench. And if somebody's asleep over there, somebody doesn't care, somebody's not engaged in the game, they will never get in the game. Ever. And they know that. They know.
So I know that was kind of a little bit hard to hear from some of you guys. But what did they both talk about? What did they both say? Body language. It matters, man. It really matters. So much of what we know about people is first impression. I might see some of you guys again in a couple months, and I might remember you from your camp. I'm only going to know you guys for 6 hours today, 7 hours. But what I think about you 7 months from now, next time I see you, all I'm going to remember is this camp. That's my first impression. When you guys go to tryouts, you try out for your club team, you try out for your feeder team, you try out for your high school team, you only get 3 hours to impress them. Every second matters. If you make a great pass to someone and they drop it and you turn around and you're like, oh. As a coach, they were impressed with the pass, but then they're disappointed in how you acted. And they're not going to remember the pass. They're just going to remember, oh, so-and-so, he doesn't deal well with his teammates. In a game, you're having a bad game. you sit there and you come out, or people are trying to give you high fives and you miss their high fives on purpose. Coach sees that. Some coaches, they might let it go. Most coaches, most winning coaches, they're not going to let it go. Because they're going to hold you to a higher standard, but you should already be holding yourself to a higher standard. If you're in practice and you see a teammate having bad body language, it should be on you to sit there and talk to them and be like, hey, knock that off. If someone's getting on themselves in the game, you need to walk to them and you need to be a leader and you need to tell them, hey, we need to straighten up. Now there's ways to do it without being mean. But seriously, it goes back to, do you want to be a champion? It doesn't matter how much skill you have. It matters what the culture creates. And your coaches are always watching. Let's talk about communication real quick. Sometimes when we're in practice, or we're in games, and if we're not actually playing, we just sit back. We don't say anything. And a lot of us are like, well, I'm not doing anything wrong, so why am I getting in trouble? It's about the law of averages. Okay? Law of averages right here. So you guys know what average is? I don't know if that's too late math for you guys or anything, but law of average basically means is I take a bunch of things, and if I add them all together and divide it, I get a certain number. Right? If I sit here, and let's say I'm rating players on a scale of 0 to 100. Well, if I have one player that's 100 and one player that's a 10, my average comes out to 55. Somewhere around there. But look how low that 10 brings in. Versus if I have a player that's a 50 out of 100. 175 by 2, 150 by 2 is 75. Look at these averages, how they change. This is the only number that matters. The closer this number is to 100, the better the team is. Right? If you got 3 teammates that are all close to 100, and you're so-so, you're not doing anything wrong, but you're not doing anything okay, well guess what? These 3 players right here, their average comes out to about 97. But just by adding you into the mix, and then you are a 60, basically that number starts to go down. Look how much lower that number is compared to that number, just because you're in the gym, but you're not doing anything right, you're not doing anything wrong. I said there's 2 C's when it comes to culture. You contaminate, you make things worse, or you contribute. Those are the only 2 options you have. You either make things better because you're there, or you make things worse on average, or you bring things down because you are not doing your part in helping others. You are not doing your part in bringing the spirit. You are not doing your part in those things. So when you have dead time in practice, you're waiting in the back of the line, you're rebounding, you're not actually shooting, you're not actually playing the drill. What are you doing? Are you talking? Are you contributing? Are you sitting there? Or are you bringing the average down? This is Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart just won Defensive Player of the Year. He's the first guard to win Defensive Player of the Year in about 25 years. Gary Payton was the last one to do it. 25 years, a guard has not been named for the most important defensive player in the league because it's really hard by how they vote and things like that. But watch and listen to what he says. More backstory of Marcus Smart. For the last few years, he was always thought of a bench guy. He was always thought of a guy that's not a true point guard. He wasn't the best shooter, didn't have the best decisions all the time. So a lot of people wanted to trade him. They wanted to get him out of Boston because they were like, I don't think he's the right guy for this team. But those people don't know every single day. The Boston Celtics would keep him year after year after year after year after a bunch of outside people said he's not the right guy. What are you guys doing with him? Last year he took a step back, became more of a facilitator than a passer. But look to what he did every single day, every single game, and this is why a team decided to keep him.
Not kidding.
Here we go. That's it, Jalen. Woo! Hey, yeah. Shot, Nader. Give me that. Show how pretty that thing is. Show how pretty it is. Nice, Kyrie. Good shot, baby. Good shot.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to work our post defense a little bit. I'm working hard to straddle this leg and deny with a hand up. Ball gets reversed, I change myself just a little. Now I push him up the middle. He goes and gets post position. When he faces, I show my hands, guard one dribble baseline, chest it, done. Got it? Okay? One after another. Here we go. Ready? Go with it. Good.
I'm front. Hey, oh, yeah, I'm
Good
here,
job,
I'm here.
Smart. Good job, Smart. Good job. Good job, T-Row. Good job, T-Row.
That's you, Tatum. That's you, Jason. Physical, JT. No hands. Show your chest, baby.
Good, JT. Good.
Come on, Kyrie. There we go.
Hit early to front. Front.
Front. Yeah.
Good. Steer hand, swipe hand early. Show your hands. Good. Next. Good job.
Get in front. Jump to the ball, front it. Three-quarter. Fight over it. 100 times out of 100 times, guess who I'm rolling with? Come on. Hey, I'm him. Come on, Jay, me and you, Jay. Switch it. Hey, all that, we only down 3. Yeah. One miss, one clean-up offensive rebound, we good. Nice, Tice. Run! And one! That's how you play. Nice, Grant. Nice, JT. Nice. This isn't the Heat series. We can't start back. You have to start up, especially if they setting it so high. You start up and drop because we're chasing. Now he goes down into the paint. Welcome back, baby. Left hand. Oh, that left hand crazy. TD, baby. Welcome back, boy. Yep. Your help's this way. So kind of, you ain't got to open up like this. You can play them like this. Yeah, just stay square. If you stay square, don't open up anyway. Stay square. And then you can play them here. You don't have to crowd them. You're long enough to get a contest from here. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing, boy. My bad, Rob. Way to run with me, baby. Way to get that, boy. Take your time. You got it. We all right. I owe y'all one. Hurry up. Listen, when you post up Kai, don't try to go here. Put it out here, and he's going to foul you every time. You good, Al. Left hand, that's what he want to do, Al. All of us. All of us, especially on any closeouts. If you're not shooting it, just drive it. We're doing too much. One move and blow by them, and then get them up in the air, finish strong, kick it out. Quick decisions. But when we sit and play, they can load up on us. All right? Just take it by them and do your thing. Let's go. We in the bonus. Get to the rim. We in the bonus. We shooting free throws. I'm telling you, keep going. Don't get discouraged.
So I was live right there. What's the question? Go ahead. That was a lot. Was he ever quiet? When he was in the game, when he was sitting on the bench, what was he doing? He's giving reminders. He's telling his teammates things. He's encouraging. Some guys are having bad games. He literally walked up to his teammates. He said, hey, you keep shooting. I believe in you. When he was in practice, I know it's kind of hard to hear that clip a little bit, but if you listen closely, Brad Stevens, when he was coaching, he said specific things. He said 3/4 of the defense. He said chest them up. He said hands high. He said all of this stuff. If you were listening, the only other person that gym was talking was Marcus Smart. What was he saying? He was repeating everything. He was an extra coach on the court just because he's in the gym. He did things so special, the teams decided to keep him around. They sat there and said they didn't want to trade him. They gave him more responsibility when everyone thought he couldn't handle enough because of the day-to-day things he did. What did he do when he threw a bad pass? He said, my bad, and he sprinted. He was the first one. When things were going well, he was on the bench. Was he the first or was he the last one to get off the bench? He was the first. It's not complicated, guys. Like, it's really not complicated. But I'm telling you, if you do these things correctly, Boston wound up making the finals last year when they were a 500 team in December. And they flipped it around. It was one of the best comebacks in NBA regular season history, and no one believed it. But also, no one knew the behind-the-scenes stuff. No one knew the stuff that he was doing every single day to build culture. They were ready to blow the team up, but they decided to keep it together. And they believed in him. And now he's a starting point guard for a team that won the finals and also for a team that has the best record in the league right now at this time. He's not the most talented player, but he's probably the most important player on that team right now. Okay, last one. Okay, hopefully you guys don't know Kobe Bryant. Like I said, if you don't know things about Kobe Bryant, listen to stories about him. Literally, his work ethic, we all think we work hard. I think I work hard, but no one worked as hard as him. This is another coach talking about a moment that he had with him 15 years ago. 15 years ago, he was a brand new coach in the league, and he remembers this moment to this day because of how special Kobe was for so long.
I still remember the first time I met him as an assistant coach, and one of my responsibilities were with the young players, and Rasul Butler and I walked out and had an early workout, and we thought we got in here 4.5 hours before anybody else would be on the court, and Kobe was already on the court, and the painstaking detail and focus he was putting into that workout was remarkable. That Rasul and I ended up just watching about 15, 20 minutes of it. Then we went back to work, and as Kobe finished up his workout, he came down and sat down, and it was a surreal moment as a young assistant coach. I was like, wow, is he going to sit here and watch this workout? Well, Rasul obviously is from Philly, so they knew each other, and Rasul ended up introducing me to him. And what I found so amazing about that moment, the reason I bring it up is because there was nobody that was going to be more fierce or more of a savage as a competitor. And yet the next 2 minutes of what Kobe was doing to encourage a young player was simply amazing. And that was early mentorship when he was still a young player in this league. But Rasul wasn't playing at the time, and Kobe could separate the two things and offer a lot of encouragement, basically telling them, hey, if you stick with this, that kind of workout, you're going to earn your spot in this league. It's just a matter of time. And then to come out in that game and just try to destroy everybody, it was paradoxical almost. Those two kind of personalities, but very giving. And then we all saw that later on in his career where he was such a mentor. But as one of the fiercest competitors you could ever come across, and there was something about our games with LA, they just felt electric. And when Dwayne obviously joined our franchise, it just went to a different stratosphere, but that electricity came from Kobe and his competitiveness and what he would do to raise the level of everybody's play in the game.
So we talked about it. At the time, Kobe's probably the best player of every court he ever walks into. Another kid on another team, he gave him encouragement. He separated the two. He built the game of basketball. We talked about unity to start off this session. What are you doing to build the game? What are you doing to reach out to others that need the help and to give influence on it? But then guess what he also did? He went out and destroyed him that night. He said, you're not on my level yet, and I'm going to respect that, and he's still going to go compete. You guys got to have two different types of mindsets. You got to be ferocious, but at the same time, too, is you got to learn how to share a little bit of care, a little bit of love towards everyone else, too, if we're going to grow the game. Because you need people to push you, you need to reach out to people, you need all these things. Okay? That's basically everything I got. I hope you guys got a lot out of that. I love stuff like this. I love teaching you guys. Because there's stuff on the court we're going to do to get better, but I'm telling you, if you don't really truly understand the mindset of what it takes to be special, it doesn't matter how much practice you do. It really doesn't matter. If you want to have an impact, you want to win championships, you want to play in the biggest games, those are things you have to learn how to do. Okay?